Child killer drones? Really? How reliable is Dr. Nizam Mamode? Good evening, everybody. My name is Perry Pepple, and this morning I want to tell you about the remarkable testimony of Professor Nizam Mamode. Nizam Mamode, born 1962, was a British professor of transplantation surgery. Until 2020, he was clinical lead of transplant surgery for adults and children in a London hospital. On November 12, 2024, Nizam Mamode delivered a testimony to the Parliamentary International Development Committee. He had been doing volunteer work as a surgeon at Nasser Hospital in Gaza for a month, from mid-August till mid-September 2024, and gave a testimony about it to the committee. The most remarkable and also disturbing part of his testimony was when he said, "What I think I found particularly disturbing was that a bomb would drop, maybe on a crowded tent area, and then the drones would come down and pick off civilians, children, and we had description after description. This is not, an occasional thing. This was a day after day after day operating on children who would say, 'I was lying on the ground after a bomb had dropped, and this quadcopter came down and hovered over me and shot me.' And that's clearly a deliberate act, and it was a persistent act, persisting targeting of civilians. Day after day we had 1 or 2 mass casualty incidents every day, and that meant 10 to 20 dead, 20 to 40 seriously injured. The bullets that the drones fire are these small cuboid pellets, and I fished a number of those out of the abdomen of small children." It's remarkable that Mamode makes some very serious accusations, but does not provide any proof for it, like written testimonies from others, photos of the very unusual cuboid pellets, photos of the wounded children, or presenting the cuboid pellets themselves. In fact, any photos at all of these kinds of pellets are nowhere to be found on the internet. It's also remarkable that Mamode does not mention Israel as the culprit. When you carefully search in the transcript of Mamode's testimony, you won't find any reference to Israel. Nevertheless, Islam Channel TV reports Professor Nizam Mamode, a retired NHS transplant surgeon, broke down while giving evidence to MPs about how Israel deliberately targets children in Gaza with drones. Speaking to the Parliamentary International Development Committee about his experiences at Gaza Nasser Hospital, Mamode revealed that Israeli quadcopters shot children who were already lying injured from the bombings. But that's not what Mamode said. This is a highly reprehensible and dishonest form of journalism. Islam Channel TV should be very ashamed to tell such nonsense. They call themselves a trusted source of religious knowledge and news and a cherished hub for entertainment, culture and children's programming. What a gutsy! But to go back to Mamode, why didn't he take pictures of the cuboid pellets? And why didn't he keep some of the pellets to show to the committee? Normally, when you find something highly unusual, like cuboid pellets, in a body, you would say, "Hey, that's odd, I must make a lot of photos of that and save the pellets for further research." But it looks like Mamode did nothing of the sort. He only described them as small cuboid pellets, without mentioning the kind of material, the exact dimensions, and weight. That's strange for a man of his education. Another strange thing about his testimony, Mahmoud only worked for 1 month in the Gaza hospital and saw dozens of these cases, children wounded by cuboid pellets. Yet there are no other reports from children wounded by cuboid pellets, and there is no information of cuboid pellets used as ammunition to be found anywhere. What kind of a person is Nizam Mamode? In April 2024, there were employment tribunals because the hospital where he worked wanted to get rid of him because there was evidence of widespread bullying and intimidation by him. Also, he was behaving inappropriately towards colleagues, including raising his voice, swearing, displaying threatening, intimidating, and upsetting behavior, undermining and making derogatory comments about colleagues. In August 2021, he found himself unable to continue in the middle of a busy outpatient clinic due to extreme anxiety and depression. To summarize, Professor Nizam Mamode is not a very nice person to work with. He worked for a month in Gaza hospital a few months ago and recently told a committee about his work there. In his testimony, he told strange things that nobody else ever has told. However, his story was not substantiated by any evidence, and he did not mention Israel as the culprit. So, what is the value of his testimony? In a court of law, he wouldn't have a leg to stand on. So, his testimony before the committee has no value at all. Some people even suggest that this whole story is a fabrication in the tradition of Bollywood. When you tell a very unusual and disturbing story without any evidence, then you are in fact telling a fairy tale. So, viewers, if you believe that Professor Mamode is giving a reliable testimony, then this kind of evidence is not really helping, is it? Somebody said a long time ago, the world wants to be deceived. Do you want to be deceived? Or are you getting wiser? You can fool some of the people all of the time, and you can fool all of the people some of the time, but you cannot fool all of the people all of the time. This was the true story of the testimony of Nizam Mamode. My name is Perry Pepper. Thank you for watching. Please watch my other videos and feel free to share them with everybody.